in the end.
Have you ever wanted a game that screams,
America! Fuck yeah!
well, this game may be for you. But be warned, it's kind of a mishmash of game design that, once you figure it out, you probably won't be taking too long to beat it. Metal Wolf Chaos is a third-person shooter mech game developed by From Software and originally published by them. It first came out on the original Xbox on December 22nd, 2004, but only in Japan. You see, the game was originally made to help out the Xbox in Japan, as it wasn't doing particularly well with the lack of Japanese developers supporting it. So Microsoft teamed up with From Software to make a more simplified Armored Core with American themes. But due to the post-9/11 political climate in the States, and the releasing of it so close to the Xbox's end-of-life cycle, it only came out in Japan. The game still grew a strong cult following because of its very patriotic nature, still having full English voice acting and YouTube videos. This cult following led to Devolver Digital expressing interest in localizing the game in 2016. With the help of General Arcade, a remastered version subtitled Metal Wolf Chaos XD was released worldwide on August 6, 2019 for PS4, Xbox One, and PC. With the game finally having a worldwide release, how does it hold up? Well, it's a bit rough to say the least. The story takes place at the end of the first quarter of this century. The US is stuck dealing with civil and economic unrest. Vice President Richard Hawke leads a coup d'etat along with the military and gains control of every government institution. Our main player character, the 47th President of the US, is Michael Wilson. He's a fictional relative of Woodrow Wilson, and his relationship with Woodrow is similar to the real-life relationship between George W. Bush, president at the time this game was released, and his father, George H.W. Bush. When Michael realizes what happens, his reaction can be summed up as,
"Uh-oh, Richard!"
But instead of getting slapped, he arms himself with a mech, the titular Metal Wolf. It's up to Michael and his secretary, Jody Crawford, to take back the country.
Because I'm the president of the great United States of America!
Metal Wolf Chaos is primarily a third-person shooter, with a mech. Themed mech assault, but with more America. There are 14 missions in the game overall. You'll go through most of the major US cities, and even space at the end. Yeah, space. Metal Wolf literally rides a shuttle to space. The objectives you are given seem complicated, but in reality, they basically boil down to destroy X object. Variants include destroy X object in Y amount of time, or fight a boss like a big attack chopper named after Hakeem Olajuwon in the Houston level because that's so on the nose. That's not the only reference like that in the game. You do these objectives to take back the US from Richard Hawke. Some levels have you destroy specific things, but generally it boils down to the simplicity I mentioned earlier. In the levels, you'll find energy pods. Every 5 pods you get will boost your mech's health, which you will definitely need later on. There are also prisoners of war, POWs, that you rescue. You shoot their cell with light arms to free them. Sometimes they'll have bombs attached to them that count down when you get near them, and if you don't destroy it fast enough, they die. Use a sniper rifle for these POW boxes, just not a heavy armed sniper rifle. When you rescue some of them, they'll boost economy and technology parts, which nets you more money to spend on making new weapons, and the tech parts help with getting the weapons by giving you materials to make the weapons. Basically, money invest, and money and materials build weapons. Speaking of weapons, there are plenty of weapons in this game. Light arms include handguns, shotguns, machine guns, and assault rifles. Heavy arms include things like bazookas, missile launchers, grenades, some sniper rifles, but not all, some railguns, and multi-missiles. You can even use a damn flamethrower. Some arms take both hands, some only need one hand. Experiment and see which weapons work best for which missions. I'm serious, by the way. In order to survive in this game, you'll need to have strong weapons, and you need to be fast and alert. But that's also part of what hurts the gameplay. For first-time players, you're not really going to know what weapons and strategy works best on a mission. The first set of missions aren't too much trouble, but soon after the second mission, the game ramps up. Suddenly, you have to destroy a cannon on Alcatraz before it activates, and you're platforming in the Grand Canyon while trying not to mull around the bridges, and the Houston mission, of course. While this keeps a sense of unpredictability, it also leads to frustration, mainly because there are no checkpoints in these missions. While they are short, you probably won't beat most of them on your first go. Some of them are also downright evil. Liberty Island is complete bullshit, and you'll have to hope you stop that tank fast enough to beat it when it starts running you off the bridge. And in New York, the boss there can one-hit kill you if you're not careful. It's shit like this that makes me think From Software wants us to suffer the same way those of the asshole-ish variety want me to suffer. So yeah, simple? Guess again. Now don't get me wrong, a good challenge is rewarding, but even then, From Software pushes it too far at times. Simple from a gameplay point, but not a strategy standpoint. But you're not expecting strategy because it all boils down to blow X object up. You can dash around, but you only have so much to dash with before your mech starts overheating. And after enough kills, you'll fill up a meter that, when you push the two analog sticks in if you're playing with a controller, or push the appropriate button on your keyboard, it unleashes a barrage of missiles that blows up anything in its path and you're invincible, while Michael yells out,
How do you like me now?
Not that you would know, since this game doesn't tell you this until much later on. I'm telling you now so you can save yourself the grief. I think the gameplay mix has to do with the fact that the Armored Core team only implemented the mecha gameplay, while the Otogi team did the main gameplay. The styles don't mix well at times, and the curve in this game can be difficult because of this, especially on higher difficulty modes. While the game's gameplay is a bit mixed, the atmosphere is actually very on point. This game screams America. There are references to American culture, and the whole game is basically America as Japan sees it, especially the patriotism. A lot of influence was taken from the ideas of American culture in comic book heroes, the latter of which regards how the president is portrayed. This is similar to how maybe we exaggerate the Japanese in some media, and things like that. This isn't quite Team America levels of satire, but you will definitely feel that Bush era to a degree, not overly, but somewhat when playing this game. With simple gameplay to a degree, the controls equally match. Left and right triggers fire the weapons in your hands. Two-handed weapons are mapped to both triggers. X button dashes, A jumps, Y you can do a slam attack when in the air, and B opens your backpack, which cycles your weapons. And replace all button prompts with PlayStation prompts if you're playing with a PlayStation 4 controller. Weapons have limited ammo, but you can find ammo packs as you keep playing, and health packs when your health is low. The D-pad taunts. Clicking both thumbsticks with full meter unleashes the super attack, and you can also click in the left thumbstick to dash like Gun Valkyrie, in addition to just holding the button in one direction and just tapping the dash button. In fact, that's kind of what this reminds me of, but that game was way less frustrating than this. Still, the controls work well, and you have a pretty good grasp of Metal Wolf. I primarily played this with an Xbox 360, and later Xbox One controller when I came back to finish it, since the mech games I played were primarily console mech games. Keyboard and mouse shouldn't be too far off for those on PC. Graphically, this game actually still looks pretty good. I imagine the original Xbox version looked fine for the time. Here, everything has been cleaned up and looks crisper, especially Metal Wolf itself. Very detailed and a unique color scheme, with many more skins that you can unlock. Environments also look better than they did before. Hostage models haven't aged too well, but the robots, buildings, and everything else all look good. Not even just the graphics, but the actual designs are pretty cool. I'd love to pilot that Metal Wolf, even if some of the levels have me asking,
And what do we got on this thing? A Cuisinart?
Other robots' designs look sick, the levels look awesome, especially Vegas and New York, and the design in general kicks serious ass. The sound is also on point. Guns sound pretty intense and impactful, all other sounds sound in place, but it can be a bit hectic with all the action going on. Music fits, even if it is a bit generic and too background-ish because of the chaos. you can unlock music by rescuing POW musicians. The voice acting is cheesy as hell, but it works for a game like this because of how everything is over-exaggerated. The actors probably had a blast doing this. All full English voice acting, by the way, no Japanese voice acting. There's quite a bit of replayability here. Beating the game once unlocks Fever and Hell mode for different difficulties, movie viewer, and a new title screen. Beating missions on Hell mode unlocks new skins, super weapons you can earn by getting S rankings on specific missions, and getting all collectibles unlocks UFO missions, get all POWs, and max out your energy pods for the strongest mech. Metal Wolf Chaos revels in its theme of America, but the gameplay mixes don't mesh very well without a hell of a lot of strategy. It looks, sounds, and controls well, and when you figure out the curve, it plays well with plenty to keep you coming back. But first-time players may find it a bit difficult, especially if you've only dabbled in mech games just a little. If you're going to give this a go, have a guide ready if you're not strong in mech games, or play on easy. That said, the whole game is an experience you won't forget once you play it once, and because of that, I'm giving Metal Wolf Chaos a 3.5 out of 5. I'm happy it came out in America eventually, but I do wish the gameplay was a bit more tighter. Thanks for watching. If you like what you saw, click the big red button below to subscribe. Check out the other links in the description for more cool stuff, and check out the playlist on screen for more content. See you in the next video.